الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا، رحمة للعالمين، أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the creator of this universe and the provider of each creation in a manner in which the creation is going to achieve the best or the highest level of perfection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's purpose in creation is to have creation reach perfection. Some creations reach perfection on their own, and some reach perfection because of others. So just to give you an example, the food that you're going to eat and the chicken that was slaughtered in the name of Allah in the particular way that it is halal for us. When that chicken you eat and it becomes part of your body, the proteins from that become part of your body. So now it's no longer the chicken, it's you. And then you stand and you say Allahu Akbar, and you bow down in ruku and you go in sajda. So that creation of Allah which said, okay, I will sacrifice myself for this human being, because this human being will reach you, and as this human being reaches you, I will also reach you. Right? So all the rest of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given to us as blessings, if a human being does not get to Allah, then all of them complain. Right? The wood would complain that I gave my life for you so that you can make a house, and this house that you made, in the house you disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I sacrificed my life so that you can have a house in which you will obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that my sacrifice can mean something, but yet you disobeyed Allah. So the creation that you see around you, they're also carbon based. The tree is carbon based, it's a machine. You say it is alive, it is an entity. It grows, it dies, it blooms, it takes water from the ground, it processes the water, it processes the sunlight. I don't know. I mean, most of your medicines are from the plants, right? So these beings are carbon based as well, right? They're also doing tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're also they have their prayers as well. I think we mentioned that all the birds, they know their prayers, right? Me and that tree outside, what's the difference? Just for a matter of, because we as human beings think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything for us, and we should go and plow the land and take out whatever, all the natural resources just for our own benefit and do all of that. Let's just, for argument basis, the difference between me and a tree. Right? Maybe that tree has been there for 40 years. Right? Even maybe before I was born. And it's going to stay there until somebody doesn't cut it for maybe another 20 years or 30 years. True? It's doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for much longer than I would. It has never disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has given shade to people. He has given shade to people. The ones who were in the sun and burning, they were able to come and seek comfort. Maybe it has given fruit to individuals for that fruit to be used for their diet or to get benefit from it. When you start looking at it, comparing, in front of that tree, I don't see myself better. When you look at the qualities of the tree and I look at my qualities, I disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never gave shade to anybody that they could take shelter in me. Right? Instead, I hurt their feelings. I burned them with my tongue. Right? If I look at, am I going to be much longer to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the tree? No, the tree will be there much longer than me. The tree gave the birds and the other animals of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shelter in it so that they can make house. I went and destroyed houses. Right? So when you look at it that way, in comparison to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how can you and I say that I am ashraful makhlukat? That I am the best of creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? The other thing about, as far as the tree is concerned, does the trees have a soul? You think about it. The trees can communicate with each other. Did you know that? They talk to each other. No? You didn't know that? They communicate with each other. No? In Africa there are trees, I don't know about this one, but in Africa there is trees. When the giraffe, they go and they start eating the tree, that one tree that is being eaten sends a chemical pheromone or smell in the air. It travels by air to the other tree. Once the other tree gets that smell, it turns its leaves into bitter leaves. The leaves are not sweet anymore. The leaves are not good for the giraffe anymore. By the time the giraffe comes there and tries to eat those leaves, they're bitter, they're no good, and the giraffe leaves it. This one tree saved the other one. Communicated to the other one that the enemy is coming, you better prepare yourself, defend yourself. Right? So, now if you think about it, we human beings, we become enemies of each other. We don't defend against a common enemy, we become enemies of each other. यहाँ तक कि, sorry उर्दू में मैं थोड़ी सी बात करूँगा कि हम एक दूसरे की टांग खींचते हैं. We pull each other's leg, we don't let anybody go ahead. We would rather see them fall down rather than get up and be successful. Here's a tree helping the other tree. They communicate to each other. They have a power of choice. They can choose. They choose to do tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With me? If they are forced to do tasbih, could it be classified as tasbih?
Yes.
You can't. You put a gun to my head and say, do my praise. Is that praise? That's what the tyrants are doing nowadays. They're putting guns to the people's foreheads and say, do my praise. How good I am, how merciful I am, how this I am. That's no praise. Praise would be if I had a choice and I chose and I understood you that you had something good in you. By choice I said you are good. That is praise. By knowing that you have something good, that is praise, without any compulsion. So if the tree is forced to praise, is that praise? No. يُسَبِّحُ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created is doing the tasbih of Allah. If that tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being done by force, it's not tasbih. If it is done without knowledge, it is not tasbih. The tree knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The tree has a choice in the matter of doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are you still, no? Again. The sixth Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq, a person came to him and said that, Ya Imam, can you tell me one of the signs of a mu'min believer? Can you tell me one of the signs of a believer? And the sixth Imam said that if a believer calls the tree, if the believer calls the tree would walk over to the believer. If the person, what is the question? The question is being asked is, what is a sign of a believer? Right? And the sixth Imam is answering what? The sign of a believer is that if the believer was to ask the tree to come, call it, the tree would come to it. Right? So if the tree comes, that means the person is a believer. If the tree doesn't come, then there is an issue. With whom? The tree or me? No, with me. I was saying, what's the tree's fault? The sixth Imam is saying, if you are a believer, if a person is a believer, they ask the tree will come. If the tree is not coming, you can't blame the tree. आप मोमिन नहीं हो, मैं तो हूँ. So as Imam was explaining to the person that this is one of the signs of a believer, there was a tree that walked over to the sixth Imam. And Imam said to the tree that I was only explaining to him, I didn't call you. So the Imam was saying, I didn't call you, मैंने आपको बुलाया नहीं, मैं तो इनको समझा रहा था, इसलिए मैंने कहा कि अगर मोमिन कोई दरख्त को बुलाए तो दरख्त चल के उसके पास आ जाएगा. So I didn't call you, you can go back to your place. Right? Now if you think about it, the tree has the ability to judge your iman and to have enough ma'rifah to find out whether you are a mu'min or not. Can I know if you are a mu'min? Do I know what is inside of your heart? I don't know. Do I know if you are a mu'min or you are a Mazallah, Muslim? Two-faced? Do you know? Maybe so. But the tree has the ability to be able to find out the person calling me is a mu'min or not. So now you tell me the trees don't have a soul. You tell me the trees are not intelligent. You tell me the trees do not have a choice. You tell me that trees do not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You tell me the trees do not have the capacity to understand. So between me and you and the trees and the rest of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how are we going to be better? What is our differentiating factor? Right? Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me the potential to become the best of His creation? He's given the rest of the creations the opportunity to serve me so that indirectly they can get to that perfection that a human being can. Inna aradna al-amanata ala samawati wal-ardi wal-jibal. We presented a trust to whatever we have created and to the mountains. Hold it. They did not hold it. They said they refused. We do not want to hold this trust. So now what happened? This trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presented, He presented to all of His creations. He specifically brings the mountains in there. Whenever He says samawati wal ard, what it means is that all of His creations. Okay? Samawati wal ard means all of His creations, skies and earth. अब इस पे हम I don't want to go in detail about that, but just अभी वहीं पे आके आपको लेकर आएंगे वापस में. There is no such thing as sky, by the way. Right? There is no such thing as sky. ठीक है ना? This what you see, the blue, is actually is not there. What it is different particles of light reflecting, and then there is just the coloration of those particles that gives you the blue. You know, sometimes the sky gets red, or it gets a bit of pinkish as well sometimes, right? It changes the color. It is because of the light of the sun, right? And it is also to do with the particles that are in the atmosphere. In reality, you are living in space. So there's no sky. It's not like, when the shuttle, it's going up and up and up and up and up, and then they, this is the sky now, this is the limit. No. There's no roof. So it just keeps on going, and that's it. And they are in the, the outside of the atmosphere. They're in the space. Are you up or are you down? There's no up or down on earth. There's no up or down. Right? Like when you go to the moon, the earth is where? If we go to the moon, the earth is going to be where? Up. When you are on earth, where is the moon? ये कैसे हो गया? How did that happen? Right? Because up and down is actually relative to a point where you are. In reality, up or down does not exist. When something is relative to something, it doesn't exist. So really, up or down, earth or sky is relative to what you are meaning. So therefore, whatever you happen to be, okay, you can say this is sky, this is the earth. With me? But when he says samawati wal ard, in all of his creation, if there is going to be a boundary that is going to be classified as up, and there is going to be a boundary classified as down, everything that is encompassed, that he has created, is meant by samawati wal ard. Okay? So he gave his trust to all that he has created, and he brings specifically the mountains in there, because mountains, we look at it as strength. Okay? And they refused to hold that trust. They said, they got afraid actually, and they said, we can't hold this. So now what happened? The tree was presented a trust, and I was there too. Right? The tree was presented a trust, and I was there too, and the tree refused. Tree said, I can't. Mount Everest was presented the trust. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is a trust. Who's going to keep it? And Mount Everest is big, right? Like you guys, it's huge and it's like so powerful. If you just in comparison, it's not very big. Right? I can hold it. Right? I can hold it. Mount Everest should be able to hold it. No? But Mount Everest said, I cannot hold it. But a human being, me, being there, I said, I'll hold it. It doesn't look very big. It's okay. Yeah, it has like nice colors on it. It's like language. It's okay. Looks nice. I'll hold it. Innahu kana zaluman jahula. Certainly, man is zalim, is an oppressor and ignorant, does not know. Now what was that trust? In the books of Tafasir, the Mufassirin have said the trust happens to be many different things. The Velayat of Imam Ali has been mentioned there too. The Nubuwwat of the Prophet. I mean, there's many different things that are mentioned in the tafsirs. One of the things that is mentioned is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in that trust that, do you want to have a choice to go away from me or to come close to me? With me? Do you want to have a choice to go away from me or to come close to me? And all of His creation said, we do not want that choice. We cannot stay away from you. Because if we are going to stay away from you, that means disobedience. And we cannot take the burden of disobedience. We do not want to have the choice to be able to go away from you. No. We want always, يُسَبِّحُ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. We always want to be in the tasbih of yours. We never want to be in your disobedience. We do not want to have a choice to disobey you. We cannot hold this. What did the man said? Human being said, I'll take it. Do you know how big of an atrocity it is when a person disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When a person puts a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the throne of the creation of Allah shakes. It is that of so I do not have the words for it. The audacity of it, the intensity of that shirk is such that the mightiest of all of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creations, they shake in fear. Who has he disobeyed? Who has he put a partner to? The creator of all, the Lord of all, the mightiest of almighty, the generous of all, disobeyed him. Instead put a partner with him. They shake. And we consider that to be, it's okay. Do we know who we disobey? 280 billion galaxies that He created by just being saying be. This solar system, the smallest one in all of it, only, and the youngest one 4 billion years old. 280 billion galaxies that have trillions of planets and stars, and this Earth with all of its might is the smallest planet. Do we even know who we disobey? What are we in comparison even just to the universe? What is Earth in comparison to the universe? It's not even a speck of dirt. The speck of dirt would be bigger. Can you imagine just for an ant, right? Just for the kids to have an example. An ant saying to like a 6'5" big huge muscle man, I want to fight you. I'm somebody, I can fight you. Anybody looking would say, what are you doing? You're an ant. It's like 6'4" is thousands and thousands of times bigger than you. It's thousands of times heavier than you, stronger than you. You want to fight? You must be either ignorant or you must be an oppressor. Innahu kana zuluman jahula. The most certainly man is ignorant, oppressor or ignorant. So an ant would not do that. We come as we disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then we are arrogant about it. We are arrogant about it. Then no, you want to burn me? Go ahead, burn me. I broke your law, like for example, I didn't pay no khums, that's okay, I don't care. You know. I lied, I cheated, I don't pray namaz, I do sometimes fasting, sometimes I don't. My wife wears hijab, sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. My kids swear, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. My kids are good Muslims, sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. I do not do my responsibilities to my brothers and sisters, it's okay. What are you going to do to me? Nothing happened. I slept, I woke up, I'm okay. This is the time limit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. It's a time limit. Once the time limit runs out, do you know the scene of hell? Do you know how like the scene is? You walk in and there are going to be women with each strand of hair that they showed to a non-mahram, they're going to be hung by it. And that strand of hair is not going to break. Can you imagine the pain? If you pull out one hair, how much pain there is. Imagine being strung by those hair. Those individuals who listen to music, hot iron rods into their ears. Can you imagine like the scene? Angels hitting, skin burning, coming back again. Like, oh Allah, you are almighty, you are all merciful. Yes, we disobeyed you. Our disobedience didn't do nothing to you. Our obedience was not going to do anything to you. Why do such things to these people? Right? If you see a torture being done like that, to a certain point, you're going to feel merciful. Right? Bas. Right? You hit him 1,000 times, bas. Enough. I don't know. If in front of you somebody's being, what do you call this? Whipped. If somebody's being whipped and they've been whipped 1,000 times, I mean, no matter what their crime is, to a certain point, you're going to say, bas, it's enough. Right? Yes or no? And you are a creation of the most merciful. The most merciful is your creator. Wouldn't the creator feel bas? On top of that, 1,000 times, and then the skin comes back again. So now 0. We start from the beginning. Again 1,000 times. And then the skin is melting and the meat is grinding and it's like minced meat. Again. Till when? Forever. See, what we don't realize is all of this that you are seeing in hell is us doing it to us right now. When you take somebody, disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ugliness of that is just that. But why can't we see the ugliness of that just that? Because we do not understand who we have disobeyed. What would we do to that individual who went and broke the door of the house of Bibi Fatima Zahra Islam? What would we do? How big of that atrocity it is. If that person was to remain forever in hell, is not enough. Why? Because whose house did you burn? Whose door did you break down? It is the house of Fatima. It is the door where the Prophet used to stand and say, Assalamu alayka ya Ahlul Bayt al-Nabuwwa. What is the intensity? Why is that such a heinous crime? Is because whose house you have broken? Yes or no? There are many necks that have been cut in the history of humanity, but the neck of Hussein, if someone cuts, the person who cut the neck of Imam Hussein should burn in hell forever. Why? Because of the neck that he cut. Yes? Then you and I, we disobey Allah. Those crimes were committed against the creation of Allah, the best of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because they were the best of the creation and these crimes were committed, we call these crimes as heinous. That these crimes should be punished in the hellfire forever. But what about us who are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What should be our punishment? We're not disobeying, anybody. It's not like, I disobeyed. I disobeyed you. I disobeyed a person. I disobeyed a creation. I disobeyed a king. Would you have more? Hey, you disobeyed a king? Okay, just to put it in context and we'll end it. What if the Imam of the time comes? Right? He walks through the door right now. Imam आते हैं. आके मुझे कहते हैं हसन आप हमारे लिए खजूर ले आएं कि मैं अभी अपना रोज़ा खोलूं. And I said no. I said no. Imam asked what? Can I have a date so I can open my fast? And I said no. I said no. If you're looking, what would you think of me? Say, what kind of person are you? Right? You're wearing the clothes of his grandfather. You're talking about him. You're doing his dua. You kept on saying Al-Ajal, Al-Ajal, he's here. And all he asked you was a date. To open his fast, you had the opportunity to open the fast of the Imam of the time. And you say no. Isn't it bad? Should I not be punished? I should be punished. But who did I disobey? The creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best of His creations. But I disobeyed His creation. We do not see the heinous crimes that we commit when we disobey the creator of the 12th Imam. Who created the Imam of the time, who gave everything that Imam of the time has, is because of the Creator. And we disobey him, it's okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I'm waiting for you. Can you imagine that? Just this sentence, the intensity of that sentence should make me lose my life. I should die right now. God is saying, I'm waiting for you, Hasan. Why do I live among you then? Why do I live among this? Why do I walk this earth? My God is saying, I am waiting for you. And he says in Hadith Qudsi, there are many traditions that says that the ones that are in love with me, if they find out how much I am in love with them, they will die. They will leave this earth if they find out how much I love them. When he says that I love you more than 70 times than your mother, how much does your mother love you? Is there a limit to it? Can you quantify that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us 70 times more than that. And then he waits for us at the time of Fajr and we don't show up. Do you not see the atrocity in that? जुल्म नहीं है. जो इंसान को 70 गुना माँ से ज्यादा प्यार करे, उसको सब कुछ दिया. He gave you everything. What does he want? He's waiting for me. What does he want? Just for that 5 minutes so that I'm with him. And then I do not pray. Is that not a shame? Is that not a heinous crime? Does this not validate all of the punishments that you and I can think of? Who's the one who's done this to their own selves? It's you and I. We have punished ourselves this way. This month of my Ramadan, we're supposed to be His guests. I am the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That in itself is such a huge honor. Who am I to be the guest of Allah? The creator of the universe. The one who gave life to everything. The one who is the sustainer of everything. The one who does not need anything in return. He says, I would like you to come as a guest of mine. I will honor you. And in this holy month, I will give you whatever you want. If you want to ask me for forgiveness, ask me. You've done the crimes against me, you've not given me my rights. Ask me for forgiveness, I will give it to you. You want sustenance? Ask me, I will give it to you. Ask me anything and I will give you. You want me to show my love to you? Ask me, I will. And then these days go by and we do not take benefit from it. Whose fault is that? Oh Allah, we beseech you with the mercy that you have upon all of your best creations, that make us the way that you have intended us for us to be. Give us the opportunity to submit to you and only you. Do not allow our disobedience for you to stop loving us. In this holy month, forgive the sins that we have committed, all of our forefathers. Help the oppressed all around the world, wherever they happen to be. Give us the opportunity to do our own responsibility. Make us the friends and the followers of the Imam of the time. May he come as soon as possible. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-Asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilu s-salihati wa tawasaw bil-haqq wa tawasaw bis-sabr.